Hello, second grade readers. Welcome to our next reading lesson. Before we dive in, let's remind ourselves of the work that we did on Tuesday. We started to read our first series together, and we learned that we are going to become experts on characters in that series. Put that right up there to remind ourselves that that's the important work that we're doing. The series that we started to read is the Frog and Toad series, and we got to know the characters Frog and Toad. And that was the work that we did on Tuesday. We were collecting information about those main characters. We were looking at ways that they acted, things that they did, and then we came up with a character trait to describe those characters. We were collecting information. Today, the work that we're going to do, still with the same characters and still with the same chapter tomorrow, we are going to be paying attention to how characters respond to problems. We know that in fiction books, there's always a problem. Something goes wrong with those poor characters. And the characters then respond to the problem. They have to find a way to fix it, and they might show you some emotions or some different ways that they act towards that problem. So that's what we are going to do today, is pay attention to how characters respond to problems. Now, before we dive in, I'm going to give you an example of how characters might respond differently to a problem. I'm going to give you a scenario. So this is like a pretend situation. Okay, let's see. What if you were in the grocery store and you're walking along with your mom or your dad and you're looking at all the yummy foods and you turn around and your mom or your dad is gone. They're nowhere to be seen. You can't find them anymore. How would you respond? Well, one thing I might do is start running up and down the aisles. I'm going to be going really fast looking in every single aisle trying to find my mom or dad. What would you do? Maybe you would go talk to an adult and ask for help. Maybe you would hide under the bananas because you're so scared. There's different things that you might do to respond to that problem. And characters in a book also respond differently to problems. So that's what we're going to examine today. Let's take a look at our learning target. I am learning to pay attention to how characters respond to problems so I can become an expert on characters. Remember, we're trying to understand those characters really well. Here are some things that I am going to be looking for today. As you're reading, you're going to pause and think, how does the character respond to that problem? You're going to look back at the book and think, what does that say about the kind of person that he or she is? And you're going to be stopping and jotting as you read. All right, let's start examining problem. So we read Days with Frog and Toad, and we read the first chapter called Tomorrow. Let's talk about this chapter a little bit. What do you think the problem was in this chapter? The big thing that went wrong? Was it that Toad was sleepy? Was it that, what was the problem? I think the problem was that there were so many chores that needed to be done. And how did Toad respond to that problem? What did he do? Did he jump right out of bed and say, let's get this work done? No, I don't think so. How did he respond to that problem? If Toad had all that work to be done, how did Frog respond to the problem? Did he do the same thing that Toad did? If we know the problem is that there's all these chores that need to get done, and Toad doesn't want to do it, let's grab out our green paper and start jotting down our ideas. You need to tell me, what is the problem in this chapter? And then you're going to pick one of those characters. You might pick Toad and say how he responded to all those chores needing to be done. You might pick Frog and see how he responded about all those chores needing to be done. You're going to pick one character here and tell me how they responded to the problem. All right, best of luck.